Hi.
Hi, I'm Kylie.
And I'm Corey.
And we are Lit Libations. Welcome.
Welcome to Colin and Penelope Part 2. You know what's interesting?
What?
The first book, Duke and I, says Daphne's story. The second book says Anthony's story. The third book says Benedict's story. The fourth book says Penelope and Colin's story.
Oh.
Or Colin and Penelope or whatever.
It does kind of make sense because Penelope will be and has been a very consistent player in this whole thing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think Julia Quinn feels most connected to Penelope.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, that's what I think.
That makes sense when Penelope said that passion is making a man mad.
What?
When she's like, oh, Colin only could really get mad if he really cared for somebody.
Oh, right.
And that was something that she thought
maybe
that's the sign that he cares for me, is that he got so mad at me.
And then you like him more because he's mad at you.
And that's how she's done every character, is
That's true.
being kind of a little aggressive and violent. So that would actually make a lot of sense. Oh my god.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Before we start, I have a correction to make.
Oh no. I know what it is, actually.
So it's episode 20, isn't it? The last episode.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So last episode, which is Benedict's part 2. At one point, I said that Sophie was the dead Earl of Penwood's bastard daughter. And I meant to say that she's the bastard daughter of the dead Earl of Penwood. So I just mixed up some words there. And I didn't catch it, and she didn't catch it. So it just sounds like we just...
I didn't even catch it in editing, if I'm honest.
I'm so embarrassed, but I just had to let everyone know that I did notice that. It's so funny. I was crying, laughing when I heard
It's really funny. I love it. I really do love it.
It's so red. All right, what are we drinking today?
We are drinking a champagne strawberry sorbet drink.
Yeah, and we threw a shot of vodka in there.
And vodka. I forgot about the vodka already.
And it's to celebrate the end of this book because I loved it.
Well, yeah, and a toast that Colin makes with champagne.
Right, yeah, right.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that to sound so sarcastic.
Because we hated it. No, it's my favorite so far.
The book?
I think so, yeah.
I'm trying to decide.
I definitely like it more than Benedict's.
Mm-hmm.
I think it edges out Antony's for me, just barely.
Okay.
Just barely.
Okay.
And then it's 100% better than the first one.
You know what's interesting? The way that Anthony is described in every other book, he's he's not to be trifled with. You don't get in his way. And then in his book, he's kind of fine.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
That's so interesting.
It is. It's so interesting. I agree with that.
That happens a lot in Eloise's.
Well, and just even all of them they're so different when you're seeing them from outside perspective. Colin was really funny and lighthearted, and then we see him in his book, and he's kind of he wasn't funny at all. I don't think he cracked one joke that I laughed at.
Oh no,
Did
you're
you?
right.
I mean, you know what I mean? And I get that he was caught up in this huge love story, but he wasn't funny.
He stopped being
funny at all
when he was in love.
When he was in love, the love took the funny out of
Humor
it.
went away.
There's no room for funny in love. Okay,
That's devastating.
It is devastating.
Oh no.
Penelope shines in that relationship, which I'm not mad about.
No.
But I definitely wish that he wouldn't have lost a little bit of that, the humor.
Yeah, because it does come back in the next book, I think.
Yeah, the quick wit. Yeah, I'm sure. Because we're out of his head.
Yeah, exactly.
It just goes right back to his other persona.
So weird. You're gonna. I can't wait to talk about Eloise's book.
Ugh,
Anyways, let's get
nervous.
into it. We ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so we left off. Colin and Penelope had a massive fight, I'd say, after Colin followed her to a church where she makes her secret correspondence as Lady Whistledown. Then they made out, and Colin asked her to marry him and yanked her out of the carriage. It happened just like that.
And she fell flat on her face.
Yeah. Penelope hits the pavement. Her head hits Colin's shoes, and she immediately looks around for a hole in the ground to crawl into and die because she's so embarrassed and also shocked by Colin's sudden marriage proposal. He helps her up, and she explains that she's surprised, and he's surprised that she's surprised. He assures her that he would not behave as he did with a woman of her background without rendering a marriage proposal. And I believe him, from the outside looking in.
Yeah, I agree.
But Penelope is skeptical, as I would be if I were her.
Yeah.
Especially after the fight they just had, it would honestly take me months to believe him. Like, I don't know if I ever would.
It definitely would take me a second to settle in with just how angry that he
Had
just been. I would be like, are you sure? Well, and I think the other thing too is like, it's been like 10 years and he's never shown the slightest bit of romantic interest.
That's a huge part of it. Like, well, what's changed?
100%. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. What has changed? What is super fucking changed?
Me, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they just pulled up to the Featherington estate house or whatever it is. They head inside so Colin can ask Portia for Penelope's hand, and the butler, whose name is Brierly. I love the butlers.
I love all the butlers. Every single one.
I'm obsessed when we meet a new one.
They're incredible.
He says yes, Portia is in the drawing room, but Colin takes off, dragging Penelope behind him by the upper arm. And I don't understand why he can't just hold her hand. He holds her by the upper arm a lot. And a lot of the characters do it. I really hate that.
It must be a historical fact.
It must be.
Yeah. But you have to remember, Julia Quinn studied somewhere.
Presumably.
Google University, probably.
But Penelope realizes it's Tuesday afternoon, which means something to her and Brierly, and she digs her heels into the carpet to try and stop Colin from walking. She dances around why it might not be the best time. He thinks maybe she plans to refuse him, and when she says, no, that's not it, of course not, even though she still doesn't believe he intends to marry her, they head inside because he wants to get this done. Inside the drawing room is the entire Featherington family, including the cat. Portia, Felicity, Prudence, her husband Robert Huxley, Philippa, and her husband Nigel Burbrook. Colin is frightened at the sight of the family. He thinks of them as all as slightly dim, overly talkative, meddlesome, dull, and loud, especially Huxley. Portia is nice to Colin and excited to see him and thanks him for bringing Penelope home for their weekly family meeting, but otherwise ignores Penelope. Burbrook greets Colin enthusiastically. He's happy to see someone that's not family, since this is a family meeting, and Colin mumbles, not family yet.
Yeah.
And Portia hears him. And it's obvious in a moment that Portia believes Colin is here regarding Felicity, the youngest Featherington daughter. What is she, 18? Did she just come?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so remember we kind of talked about this. I'm not 100% sure because Felicity and
Hyacinth
have to be around the same age. I forgot her name. Oh my God.
I saw that.
My eyes get like, and they have to be. I think they've been.
They're in their mid-20s. I would.
They could be in their like anywhere between 18 and 22. Like I honestly don't know.
That's okay.
I would need like a timeline report because the last time we saw them in the last book, she was. Hyacinth was 14. I think Felicity was around the same age.
Okay.
And that was like 7 years ago.
Right.
So they've got to be like 21.
They have to be. All right. Colin doesn't pick up on this right away, but can tell something is happening because the women are all shooting secret, underhanded glances at one another. Portia tries to get Penelope out of the room. She asks her to ask the butler for more food, and when Colin argues that she can call for the butler instead, Portia says, oh, well, Penelope doesn't mind. And Penelope even says, that's right, I don't mind. And Colin says, I mind. Then Prudence tells Penelope she needs to speak to her. Felicity, on the other hand, knows exactly what's going on and is the only one working against the forces of Portia and Prudence. And she offers for Penelope to sit. Colin was, quote, caught between the good manners that had been drummed into his head since birth and the overwhelming urge to strangle the woman who would someday be his mother-in-law.
And I would too. I didn't understand why Prudence felt the need to fucking open her mouth and start talking about anything.
I mean,
I was so irritated.
Maybe
she
like, truly thought that Felicity was the goal, but why? Because Penelope's single, she can't be there. I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't either.
Why did she need to leave?
Yeah.
There was a few short exchanges with Philippa and Nigel, and Colin thought they were a rather good match. And when they left the room, later giggling together, that reaffirmed his conviction that they were a good match indeed. And I feel like they get shit on a lot for their intelligence.
Yeah, you know what? And that's such bullshit because
it is.
First of all, Nigel does suck. Like, let's be honest. He did do what he did.
But Nigel sucks.
Yeah.
But Show Nigel was worse, wasn't he?
Show Nigel was worse.
Oh, dang.
But like, if they're clearly, even if they are maybe not as intelligent as the other people in the room, like on paper or in terms of, I don't know, IQ or whatever. I mean, they're obviously happy and in love. Like, who cares?
Yeah, and they don't have bad intentions, right?
No, they don't seem to at all.
They're just living their lives, like having a good time.
Exactly.
So I'm about it.
Yeah, Nigel Burbrick found his match, and the whole time people were just shitting on him just because he wanted love.
Right.
I mean, again,
Okay,
we
yeah.
did it to Daphne, but like when people didn't even know that, they still were like shitting on him.
That's so rude.
He
found a love match. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah. Portia then tries to get Felicity to talk to Colin about her watercolors. And again, Prudence tries to get Penelope to leave, saying she needs to speak with her urgently. Colin loses his temper in public for the first time ever. He explodes. For God's sake, let Felicity go. I need a private moment with you anyway, speaking to Portia. Finally, Felicity, Prudence, and Robert Huxley leave the room. Colin finally asks Portia if she would grant him her daughter's hand in marriage. And it takes quite a while and a bit of processing from Portia to believe that Colin means Penelope and not Felicity, who he described as, quote, an infant.
Yeah.
She even ran out the door and started screaming Felicity's name into the hallway.
I do think that's interesting that it's kind of funny the way the author goes back and forth in terms of historical accuracy, because for the most part, like a lot of the men that are marrying fairly
young.
And I get he's 33.
Yeah.
But yeah, like anywhere between, 28 and probably older. I mean, really, it's anyone's guess. Marrying women that are between 18 and 26. Well, yeah, I guess
I think they said 21 in the next book is like when you really should be getting married.
Oh, okay. So 18 and 21. So it's like, I understand Colin, maybe it's supposed to like make him seem like whatever, but I do think it's interesting that like they gave him that. It's like one of those things that's like the random like in historical situation, like the way they did it randomly for Eloise. It's like, what do you like?
Like, why?
What do you mean?
This hurts Penelope, of course, and Colin is shocked and angry. He kind of goes on a rant about not wanting to marry Felicity, and Felicity pops her head in that moment, hears him say that, and runs away, which is kind of a funny parallel.
Yeah.
Colin defends the shit out of Penelope, and her heart soars. He may not love her, but goddammit, he cared for her. That's what she said, I think, or was thinking. Mm-hmm. Portia is still in disbelief. Colin says, you need to respect my new bitch. She says, I love Penelope, of course, but... That's what Portia said. Colin says, but do you know her? She is lovely and intelligent with a fine sense of humor. Who wouldn't want to marry a woman like that? Penelope quietly thanks Colin for those words. She needed to say them for herself. She recalls Lady Danbury's words, not what she thought she was, something more. Oh. Portia then hugs Penelope, seeming to accept the situation, again tells her she loves her and is pleased for her and that she'll be lonely without her. And Portia had assumed they would grow old together. But this is the best for you. I guess that is what being a mother is about. You'll know someday. Although it seemed like she treated Penelope more like a pet than she did a daughter.
I agree.
She's like, oh no, my dog's going to die. He's going to get old and die. Let it be with me forever.
I do think it's interesting too. Tell me if you agree, but the haste in which he felt like he had to ask for her hand, Penelope's hand, Colin, and the way that he just was like, it has to happen now. I feel like for me, that would also cast doubt, like almost like he's trying to do it before he can chicken out. Do you feel like that?
I would if I was Penelope for sure, but I don't feel like that reading this.
No, I don't feel like that reading it, but I could just see like where that would, if I was Penelope.
Yeah.
I would already have so much doubt. Like there's no way he's changed his feelings on me this quickly. And then also like he's doing it with great haste,
Yeah. That'd be scary.
He's got to be trying to like do it before he chickens out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd be so scared for months.
Oh, 100%.
Officially engaged, Penelope is aware that she was about to embark upon the adventure of her life. It's 3 days later, and Penelope is having tea and biscuits alone with Eloise in Lady Bridgerton's informal drawing room. They talk about the engagement, and Eloise talks about how she wishes Lady Whistledown hadn't retired because she would have loved to have seen her reaction to the news. Eloise herself was shocked at the news, but she tells Penelope that of course she's happy for them. Penelope notices ink on Eloise's fingers, and after much evasion, when Penelope asks about it, she tells her she's been writing letters to Francesca, who we know moves between her late husband's family and her own in Scotland. I always want to say Ireland. Still, there's something in Eloise's words and voice and mannerisms, and Penelope knows she may not be telling the truth or something else is going on, so she asks, what's wrong? Eloise tries to evade the question again. She says she feels restless and out of sorts and even snaps at Penelope at one point, but tells Penelope that although she's happy about the engagement, she thought her and Pen would be spinster sisters together.
Yeah.
Spinster sisters forever. At this point, I get the impression that she's mourning her friendship with Penelope because it will inevitably be different after her marriage to Colin, and she feels like a bad friend and a disloyal friend. Penelope is very understanding, and she says, believe me, I never thought I'd get married either, but you'll still have a friend in me. And Eloise is relieved that Penelope didn't suggest getting married herself as a solution, even though it did cross her mind to say that or think about it.
Yeah.
Colin comes in, upset that they ate all the biscuits, and asks what they were talking about. Before Penelope can say anything, Eloise says that they were talking about Lady Whistledown because she doesn't want to talk about her feelings to Colin, and Penelope doesn't want to talk about Lady Whistledown, so she asks Colin how his day was. And he's like, I was dragged around by Violet. I don't know where we went. I don't know what we did. Mm-hmm. And it was just like wedding stuff.
He was like, I was there, but I wasn't there.
Yeah, and truly.
Mentally.
Yeah. He didn't have to go.
Yeah.
Penelope says she's never been so exhausted in all her life planning this wedding. Colin suggests that they elope, and they both like the idea, but they would be hunted down by their mothers if there weren't an elaborate wedding, I'm sure. Colin again complains how hungry he is when our boy Wickham brings him food. He like saw Colin come in. He's like, I gotta get to the kitchen.
He's like, fuck. He's like running.
And Eloise decides to give them some privacy. Once Eloise shuts the door, Colin thinks about how he hasn't seen Penelope a lot since they got engaged, but he hasn't stopped thinking about her. He has many thoughts during this, and one is, quote, Colin had never been opposed to marriage. He'd simply been opposed to a dull marriage. He wasn't picky. He just wanted passion and friendship and intellectual conversation and a good laugh every now and then, which was good. But then he ruins it by adding, a wife from whom he wouldn't want to stray, which is bad.
I guess, like, if that's a goal, like, that's a goal. Like,
Yeah.
to be honest, because
like
that's probably more than, like, what most men do in that day and age, and honestly, our day and age.
Yeah.
So, like,
They're
I
like,
kind
am I
of
gonna
hate
wanna
it,
cheat
but,
on
like,
her?
also, I kind of respect it a little bit.
Yeah, he had that
because-
thought at least.
Yeah, at least, yeah. Yeah.
Penelope can see he's lost in his thoughts and asks what he's thinking about. He makes a comment about how Penelope is becoming tenacious and persistent like Eloise, and she's like, surely that's not a bad thing. He teases her and says, you should persist to stay by my side. And this was a silly little scene.
It was cute. It was very cute.
She put her hands on his shoulder and she's like this, staying by your side like this, persisting like this. I don't know what happened. They flirt and banter and kiss, and he's touching her calves and moves his hands up the back of her knees and kissing her. And he wants to take her on the couch, but he thinks, God damn, I want her so bad. But it's not just desire, it's love. He didn't think he didn't think it was possible that he was in love because he thought he would know. He thought it would hit him like a bolt of lightning, like it did for Benedict and Sophie. But he had known Penelope for so long, and these feelings crept up on him from nowhere. So he's like not sure what's happening.
Like it did for Benedict and Sophie.
That's what he kept saying.
I know. I just
the
think it's funny.
masquerade.
Yes, I agree. I 100%
Benedict and the
agree.
lady in silver.
It's just so funny looking back at it because it's just like he was in love for sure, but like not in love enough to recognize her without a fucking scarf over her eyeballs.
Right. But from Colin's perspective, I can see how he sees that.
I do too. I do too. I totally agree.
But
It's
we
just
should never
funny.
stop talking about the scarf
We should
incident.
never ever stop
Stop
talking
about it.
the incident. Is what I'm just
Oh my
gonna
God.
call it.
I forgot our t-shirts. We have to mention them.
Oh yeah.
It says, dearest, dearest gentle reader. It says, I almost read it line for line. It says, dearest gentle reader, did you miss me? And then Lady Whistledown, 1813.
Yes.
And mine's yellow and
Mine's blue.
baby blue.
Baby blue.
And they came from
My mom.
Kylie's mom. And so thank you so much for those.
Thank you, Mom.
They're really cute. We
You're
like
the
them.
best. Cheers. Yeah, let's take a little cheers.
Cheers. Thank you. Sorry, I just had to get that out there. I remembered it. Okay.
No, it's good.
All right. So they're kissing and making out. He's like, oh my God, am I in love? I don't know. He stops his advances, letting Penelope know it's not because he doesn't desire her. He wants to fuck her on the couch, and they would both enjoy it and probably get away with it. But he told himself Penelope's first time should be in a bed, and I do love that.
Yeah, I agree.
Ugh.
I agree.
Then he's like, can we move up the wedding? And unfortunately, no, the matrons would never allow it, probably. Don't they move it up, though?
They do.
They're just like, can we move it
I
up?
forgot about that. I was like,
Then
wait.
they move it up. Before the scene ends, Penelope asks, do I look a mess? Because they were just going at it pretty hard. And he nodded and said, yes, but you're my mess.
I just want to say, I just think it's really funny that they added that scene to the show or that like that phrase. He says that. He's like, yes, you look a mess, but you're my mess in the show. But he doesn't say like the infamous, like, I love you for my past. I love you for my future. Like, I love you for the
Was she a
children right
mess?
now. I mean, yeah,
Okay.
she was for a second. Oh, well, actually, no. Because, like, let's be so honest. Like, Nicola Coughlan is, I hope that's how you pronounce it. Nicola Coughlan.
I don't know.
Honestly, she's fucking insane. Like, she's beautiful.
Yeah.
I don't, like, she's kind of one of those women that I just can't ever see looking a mess.
Right. I agree. I see what you mean. I know what you mean.
Do you know? Yeah. Like, I just
Whatever.
can't.
Dirt all over the face. Like, she's so gorgeous.
Yeah. Like, if that's a mess, then I'm
worried for myself.
I need to get to every single physical appointment that there is to have because that's not even my good. Like, I don't even know. That's so funny.
All right, chapter 16. Colin is stressed about whether or not he's in love, and he's walking and walking and walking around the city to think. And without meaning to, he ends up in front of Daphne and Simon's mansion and decides he might as well go in and say hi. He thinks about how he and Daphne used to share a special bond, but ever since she started, quote, reproducing.
The way he says it.
So ridiculous.
It's so funny.
Each child she brought into the world brought home the fact that he and Daphne's paths through life had split apart. They were only a year apart, but she had had a husband and 4 children, and he was still living as a bachelor until now, obviously.
I actually do get that, though.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, that's a huge reason why, like, friends tend to drift apart. It's just, like,
kids.
being in different stages in life.
Yeah, and friends come and go, they say.
Yeah, but we'll be here forever.
That's right.
Let's, like, never forget that.
Yes, that's right. Before they sit, Daphne says, before you ask, Jeffries is bringing sandwiches. I love all the food references.
I do too.
She says that her youngest son, David, who is 7, says the sound of thunder is actually Colin's stomach. I had to throw that in there. He's only 7 and he made that joke.
Oh, Colin does seem like a really good uncle, like a funkle.
A funkle.
Yeah.
Yeah. The nieces and nephews aren't in it enough.
No, but like he makes I didn't write this, but I think he makes a reference in the very beginning about Antony's like daughter, about how he needs to spoil her for her birthday.
Oh yeah, he did say something like that.
And this is like the most we've gotten. This, like, we didn't have anything like that with Benedict where he mentions any of his nieces and nephews. Right. And he definitely did at that point.
Yeah, right.
And so I just think I'm like, oh, this is so interesting. He seems to be like really like decently involved even though he travels a lot.
Yeah.
I noticed that in this book because he mentions it a lot.
Mm-hmm. And it didn't really
twice,
pick up on
but
that.
That's a lot for
It
me.
is a lot.
He's only been there for a month.
Yeah,
so
true. He
Truly
hasn't been home long.
Right.
They chat about this and that, and she can tell that he's agitated about something. You can tell he's super nervous, but he's not even sure what he's feeling. And Daphne says, whatever it is, just know it's 1,000 times worse for Penelope. 100%. Mm-hmm. Then Colin finally asks, how do you know? How do you know you're in love? And they have a long back and forth where her prominent answer is, I don't know. She's like, I don't know. Well, I don't know. I have no words.
Yeah.
She reassures him that just because Benedict felt it instantly, he's not normal. We have to remember that.
I love that they point that out because, like, even his own family can recognize that he is, like, so abnormal. Like, and I do feel like that.
Like not in a way that even that we're seeing.
Yeah, and Daphne has some balls to call fucking Benedict abnormal, but
nobody even knows what she did.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's crazy.
But she knows what she did,
right.
So it's fucking hilarious that she has the fucking balls to fucking say that Benedict is abnormal. But I do agree. I do think it is interesting that they can kind of clock that.
Yeah.
Because I think he was different than I think
Benedict?
than Antony and Colin have been in general.
Yeah. Yeah. She tells him to stop thinking so hard. This conversation is akin to the 2 that Colin has had with first Anthony and then Benedict with Kate and Sophie.
Yeah.
And Colin had come to Daphne. He walked to her house on purpose.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is interesting. He didn't go to Anthony or Benedict.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they were so close. He stays for a little while longer and takes the tray of smoked salmon sandwiches in the carriage with him when he leaves. Later that night is their engagement ball and the party of the season, although mostly it's because of the continued speculation over why on earth Colin Bridgerton would choose a nobody like Penelope Featherington to be his wife. But don't worry, this doesn't bother Penelope.
Thank God.
She's still riding the high of having the man she's been in love with most of her life ask her to marry him, which good for her.
Yeah, seriously.
I couldn't be there right now.
That couldn't be me. I'd be bothered if I'm honest. I'd be a little bit butthurt.
I'd be so skeptical. Also, Colin is glued to her side, not to protect her from the gossip, but because he wanted to be. Anyway, Eloise and Penelope are talking about why on earth Cressida Twombly is there. Is that her name, right? I don't know if I wrote it down wrong. It's just such a funny word. It's just such a funny name. Cowpa to Twombly.
To Twombly.
Or maybe do you think it's Toombly?
No, I do think it's Twombly.
Okay.
I do think it's Twombly. Okay. You know what? And honestly, I choose to believe it's Twombly. Okay. Because I just think it's more entertaining that way.
I do like Twombly better for her. And she is super jealous. And the truth of why she's there has to do with people believing that maybe she's Whistledown, and Colin and Penelope have to pretend to not know for sure as well. So she's invited just in case.
Yeah.
Kind of is what I got. But she can't tell that to Eloise. So she says Colin insisted upon Cressida being there because, quote, he wanted Cressida to be forced to watch Penelope in her triumph.
I love that.
Yes. Green check. Green flag. Green flag.
Yeah.
Eloise is like, oh my God, my brother's in love. She knew it right there. Although he has not said as much, Penelope clings to the thought that he acts like he's in love, even though he hasn't said it. Lady Danbury joins them and says many heartfelt things to Penelope. I think I was crying during this part.
Yeah, I could see it.
She said, I wouldn't have missed this for the world. All these fools trying to figure out how you got him to marry you when all you did was be yourself. Then Colin joins them and Lady Danbury tells him, I was just congratulating your bride. And he said, surely I am the one who deserves congratulations. He did so well in these few things.
That's my thing. Like, he loves her so much.
And he doesn't even know when he's being like his best self.
100%.
Then Colin excuses him and Penelope, saying Penelope needs to be properly welcomed into the family. And she gets giddy, remembering she's about to become a Bridgerton. Then 10 young boys race into the room yelling, hear ye, hear ye. They have Lady Whistledown's final column. And they're throwing it amongst the people like confetti. And Penelope thinks, no, like it was supposed to be released Monday. What's happening?
At a different ball.
Yeah, at a different ball.
Ugh.
What is it? It didn't even have like that bad of consequences. Was it just because it was their ball? Oh, because it's Colin's piss.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, like, okay, hold on. Okay. Chapter 17. Colin is furious with Penelope.
Yeah, there it is.
As everyone starts reading Lady Whistledown's column, he looks at it, knowing what will be written. And it's exactly the same thing
Oh, right.
she had written.
So it is important.
Yeah, she had written for her last column, but he was like, don't. And she was like, like when they were in the carriage.
When they were in the carriage and he discovered that she was Lady Whistledown, it was the exact same letter.
Yeah,
she didn't word it any differently.
Exactly. Lady Whistledown says that people should support one's words with their actions, as well as their words. She says that she was going to retire, but due to recent events, she wrote one last column, and it would break her heart to see someone like Cressida Twombly taking the credit for Lady Whistledown.
Yeah, and we talked about that a little bit in the last episode, I think.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. The heartbreaking thing.
Okay, really quick. I don't know whether I should say it now or later, to be honest, but I'm just going to say it now.
Okay.
I can understand why Colin is pissed off.
Yeah.
I can so understand it.
Well, yeah, it's at their ball, and they had talked about they didn't agree on it. They didn't agree on it, but they did talk about her not doing that.
And it's not even like...
I think this is she was surprised and maybe a little betrayed.
Yeah, and it's not even about the fact that she did one last column, in my opinion. It's about... I know that she couldn't have controlled where and when it happened, but she could have definitely given him a heads up that it was going to happen.
Like, hey, I know that you don't want this, but I'm doing it because I need to do it. And here's when it's going to happen.
And at this point, he does not know that it was meant for another day. And I just would be so upset. Like, imagine like in any day and age, a woman gets so excited about her wedding or like at the wedding events and someone just comes in and just like completely ruins it.
Right.
Like, he probably was so excited and like excited for her. And like, I would just be so upset. Like, this isn't the moment for that.
Yeah, it is unfortunate that however that got fucked up.
Yeah.
That it happened on their day.
100%. Yeah. And so I do kind of think that he has a right to be pissed off. Because I'm going to be honest, like, I would be fuming. Yeah. I'd be fuming.
Yeah, because you're also like, I don't know. Everyone's talking about Cressida now.
100%. It's not even
The
about
attention's
you anymore.
Getting away, yeah.
And I guess it's like, and people tend to like think, oh, it's just the woman's like wedding stuff. But it's not. Like, it's two people. It's about the celebration of two people.
Right.
Like, he probably was excited about it and like bringing her into the family, doing these things, and you ruined it for him.
I get that. I see it.
I don't know. Eloise and Lady Danbury are delighted by the column, but Colin and Penelope both stay silent. They're joined by Anthony, Kate, and Violet. Colin still remains silent to like rein in his temper because he is so mad. He's got like a full blown, really, really painful grip on Penelope's arm.
I remember this. Upper arm,
like to a point where he knows it's going to bruise her.
So easy, yes.
And he knows it's going to bruise her. He knows it's going to hurt, but he's like, it's better that I do this than lose my temper and like really, really lash out, because if I do, it's going to give everything away. And also,
I can't lose my temper in front of everybody.
This is supposed to be our engagement party.
Right?
Yeah.
Why couldn't he even hold her hand, squeeze the shit out of her hand? It would be fine.
I think he was actually holding her hand.
No, I think he was holding.
Was he?
The upper arm, because he mentioned it was going to bruise, and I know it was going to bruise.
Okay, yeah. It's just, yeah, very insane.
Yes.
Colin tells Anthony to make the customary toast because Penelope isn't feeling well, and Penelope's like, yeah, I'm not. And he's like, I'll just take her home right after, basically. Mm-hmm. Anthony leads them to the stage and makes his toast to Colin and Penelope, which was actually very sweet. It was quick, but it was sweet.
I did like it.
I like Anthony.
Outside of his book.
Outside of his
Love
head,
him.
outside of his book.
Love him.
Exactly. Colin quickly leads Penelope to the dance floor to do one dance. And he's like, as soon as someone else gets on the dance floor, other people start joining the dance floor, we're out of here. We're sneaking out. And like, we're going to have this conversation. Because at this point, Penelope tries to explain, but Colin is like, wait and just smile.
Oh my gosh. I'd be so nervous.
Give it a minute kind of thing.
Yeah.
Penelope tells him, and he's not smiling. And so Penelope tells him to smile, but he can't. And the two are super tense during this first dance. And it's I feel like there's no way that people aren't noticing a little bit of tension.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a situation where you're so upset that you can't even fake a smile?
Oh, 100%.
That's tough.
Oh, many a times. Yeah.
That's sad.
Oh, like, you mean sad or angry?
Yeah, just like so upset. You can't even process your emotions. You don't know what's going on. You can't even fake it. You can't even fake your way through it. You got to get out of there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's rough. Oof. Penelope knows Colin is upset and also realizes her publisher had the column released during the Bridgerton ball instead of the Mottram ball, like she specified, because he wanted her to change her mind about not publishing anymore.
Oh, wait, so the publisher took that into his own hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It was definitely like a little bit of like a manipulation tactic, I feel like.
Yeah.
Colin finally tells her they can leave without anyone noticing. People started joining the dance floor. It was time. And Colin takes Penelope to his room through like a hidden path. Like he goes outside and they go like up like a little like stair thing. And then it's like a whole thing.
They crawl up the side of the house.
Yeah.
Go into a window.
100%. They're like on their hands and knees crawling at one point.
Through ducts.
Through ducts.
The ventilation system.
They have to hop a wall at one point. Where's the wall? I don't know. Yeah, it's crazy. It's a crazy path. They're in the dark in Colin's room, and Penelope waits for him to speak, but Colin doesn't. And she asks him to light a candle, but he refuses.
That's fucked.
Sometimes the Bridgerton men are so petty. I love it.
They are.
It's crazy. He accuses her of publishing her last column after their engagement, so he couldn't leave her. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he does say that.
Oh my gosh. Wait, why would that even? How would that tie him to her?
Because, and they did say this, because Penelope even kind of in her head agrees, because she's like, I did think about that in my head, because she knew that he was such a man of honor once they had such a public thing as like the engagement ball, as such a public I don't know, affair.
A public relationship?
No, like a public
What do you mean?
ball. I don't know, event.
Okay.
Like declaring
A
their
declaration.
engagement. Yeah.
Okay.
That it would be one of those things where he wouldn't back out because
Oh.
he's such a man of honor.
Yeah.
Why did it take us so long?
But
Do you know what's so
does whistle don't have anything to do with that?
I don't know, but I just want to say really quick
Okay.
while we're doing this. Does every actor have an IQ of like the best IQ in the world? Because sometimes I see actors and they're like easily off the cuff doing these interviews where they're using these giant words. I swear to God, they have like an encyclopedia on hand. And
No.
it kind of pisses me off.
I think most of them are pretty dumb. I think they're acting during those.
That's crazy. They must. That's actually insane because the way that they answer these it's like Shakespearean, and I'm like, who answers a question like that?
But they're also trained in media, so they know what to say and how to say it, and probably also prepare like extensively for those interviews, and they know what questions are about to be asked and stuff like that. So don't take
And
it
then
all.
they get a fucking encyclopedia and they're like, what's the most pretentious word I can use to fucking answer all
They
these
just Google
questions?
it.
It's so irritating. I'm like, why are you using these huge words that I have to go Google the dictionary definition to while I'm watching an interview on TikTok?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Okay,
That's
I'll
so
be
funny.
honest. I'll call it out. Some of the actors on fucking House of the Dragon. I can't. I've been seeing
Are
it
they-
all over my fucking social media page. And if they're that intellectually, intelligent, that's so stupid. That was a
Oh my
total
God.
that's not
You guys,
anymore.
like, cut that.
If they
Trying to talk about being smart.
if they if they are that intelligent, like that's fucking incredible. I'm actually so jealous. But you don't need to rub it on my face like that.
Yeah.
Like, you genuinely don't need to rub it
You
in
know
everyone's
what? Just
face.
don't
like
watch
that.
the interviews.
I can't even
That's
watch the interviews
solution.
anymore. I can't watch it.
the only
That's the reason I
solution.
can't be famous, because I would be next to someone who's like, using all these giant words and they're asking me questions and I probably sound like a fucking 12-year-old.
Can you dumb that down?
I don't even understand the question, okay? I need a translator for dumb
you read-
people. This
Oh my
isn't gonna
God.
work for me. Penelope is upset, but tells him that she was hoping he would understand her actions. Colin is upset and says how she'll be found out by Cressida or someone else and then vilified by the Ton because of what she said. And what she's like, basically how she's been talking shit on people in her column
right.
under a fake name, which honestly, good for you, Penelope, but I get it. I also kind of get his point of view.
Yeah, me too.
Penelope still says she won't let Cressida take credit for her, quote, life's work. Colin realizes the meaning of this and suddenly his opinion changes because I think this is the moment he realizes he admires Penelope for sure, that she has a life's work.
Right, and he does. She has a purpose.
She has a purpose.
And he's like, oh no, I've been reminded about my purpose.
And my lack of purpose.
And I don't have one.
The fact that I only write journals and I don't want to share it. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
When she tries to leave, he stops her. Colin realizes he's in love with Penelope.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
It happens.
He asks her to stay and she agrees. Okay, is this where he realizes that he's jealous?
No.
Oh.
I don't think that's till later.
I thought that was here, that he realizes he's upset because
You would
he's
have wrote that
jealous.
down.
I know. What the fuck? I feel like I missed some. Okay, whatever. Chapter 18. Chapter 18. Penelope realizes that Colin wants her to stay through the night. And
Ooh.
it's scandalous. And she's like, yeah, like I'm in. Like, let's do this.
Yeah,
Basically.
I don't remember this.
The two start kissing on his bed, and Penelope ends up with her boobies out after Colin pulls down her dress. And it tracks, like, I think Penelope has, like, some nice ass boobies.
Oh yeah,
Which
he's got
fucking,
to.
I'm kind of jealous.
He's a
but-
boob man for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I feel like Penelope is a boob person. Like, she's, like, got nice titties.
Yeah.
You know? He says she's even more beautiful than he could have imagined, and Penelope in that moment feels beautiful. I think it is funny too, because when he says that, she's like, well, what did you imagine?
Yeah, what did you think I look like under here?
Yeah. And he's like, well, I've imagined like 100 different pairs of breasts that night, but like these are even better. That would kill me, because I'd be thinking it would be
like whose breast?
Based off of whose
Is it mine?
breasts. Yeah.
You're just picturing a bunch of different breasts on me?
They have to be based off of real life.
Right.
things.
Like what would hers look over?
Yeah. Well,
Gotcha.
yeah, exactly.
It's just a spiral.
Yeah.
It would be spiraling.
Insecurity would be popping, but she feels beautiful. Good for her.
Yeah.
Colin joins her in the bed undressing as the air becomes charged with their attraction. What?
Did they have sex?
Yeah. You don't remember this?
No.
In the bed together, Penelope tells Colin that she loves him. Colin tells her that he loves her too. But before he says that, he says he knows. And then in his mind, he's like, I realized that I knew for a long time. And I had kind of been avoiding Penelope because I didn't want to like lead her on.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh, because he knew that. Right. He knew
that she,
but he was like afraid, or like.
He didn't ever admit it to himself.
Insecure that. Well, why? He was like insecure that she loved him and didn't want to flirt her.
Yeah, and
give
like
her the
lead
wrong
her on.
impression.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, which I do actually agree with. Like, I actually think that's nice that he did that.
Yeah, and he was still able to keep a friendship, which is difficult.
Yeah, that's a really hard thing for sure. Penelope says that he doesn't need to say it if like he doesn't mean it in that moment. And he's like, no, I definitely mean it. I definitely mean it.
Like, I didn't just say it because you said it.
100%. And he reminds her that she knows him well enough to know that he wouldn't say something like that unless he did mean it. Penelope realizes that he's right and is thrilled to realize how much Colin actually loves her.
Oh my God, yes.
Like, he does love me.
You never said it.
Yeah, I know. He's like, yes. She's like, he's been showing me through his actions, but now this is clarification.
His mind caught up with his heart.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He says, though, she has not changed. The way he sees her has changed, and that's why he loves her now. Like, it wasn't, it's not you, it's me. It wasn't you, it was me.
Right.
I was the problem.
Yeah.
And then Colin and Penelope have sex. This is okay, I just reread this today because I wanted to make sure that I wanted to like refresh my mind because we talk about their virginity losing scenes a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I think this was the most normal sex scene.
I agree.
In my opinion.
I didn't write anything about it down.
There was still a lot of conversation.
Yeah, which I guess is normal.
But it was normal conversation.
Right.
Like, he entered her slowly. At first.
Like...
Well, until... Here's the thing, though. This is what they all do, right?
Okay, I know what you're going to say.
It's when they reach their hymen.
They think they have to break through the force.
They think that's why they're surging.
They're like, it's like thinner than like the thinnest piece of paper. It doesn't take anything to fucking break. And they're like, I gotta get through. You brace yourself. This is gonna hurt. I gotta go hard.
That I realized that too. I was like, wait, this is why they're literally thrusting so hard. They feel like they have to like it's like a lock and key situation.
Yeah. Oh my
Which
God.
is so interesting because it's funny too because Colin is telling her like it's only gonna hurt the first time, and she's like, how do you know this? Like, he's obviously taken some virginities. Mm-hmm. He maybe should know a little bit more about it, but it's fine.
Maybe get some feedback afterwards.
Yeah.
It's really funny because I did Google search something about sex in the 1800s, and I'm going to talk about it afterwards.
Okay, good. But yeah, I did feel like it was a little bit more normal. Yes. It was slow. They had conversation, but it wasn't like awkward in the way that I felt like it kind of had been in the last couple of books.
Yeah, I would agree.
Chapter 19. Colin and Penelope convince their mothers to move up the wedding, so they're married sooner to avoid any out-of-wedlock pregnancies. They basically they didn't say it outright, but they just kind of, Colin alluded a little bit to maybe there were some impropriety. Is that the right word?
Oh yeah, and the moms were like, great, I don't need to know more.
Yeah, that's totally fine. Yeah. The rest of the ton is occupied with Lady Whistledown to worry about their wedding being moved up. They don't care. It actually provided, it's so funny that you said this too. It provided the perfect cover up for them to move up the wedding because everyone was talking about the fact that that Cressida was undercut essentially.
Yeah.
And that's why no one cared. So really Penelope provided kind of a perfect situation.
Yeah, so they can get away with it.
Yeah, 100%. 3 days before their wedding, Colin and Penelope are walking to number 5, when she brings up her writing the latest Lady Whistledown, the one that had come out during their engagement party. Colin is tense and tells Penelope that he doesn't like her doing that, but he still loves her. Penelope then asks outright if Colin is ashamed of her as Lady Whistledown. Colin says he's not ashamed, but doesn't tell her that he's jealous, that she's achieved something which he wants to do, and feels like he can't for some reason.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not ashamed, and then just drops it.
Yeah, exactly. And also, like, I don't know.
Because
the only thing that's holding him back is his fear.
Yeah, he doesn't want to admit that he doesn't have a purpose. That he doesn't have anything for himself.
Sure, but the only thing that's holding him back from like publishing his journals or doing something with his writing is literally his fear of rejection. And whereas like the things that are holding back like Penelope is like
his acceptance.
Is like everyone's acceptance.
Yeah.
Her standing in the ton, her situation, like
her
societal,
livelihood.
yeah, literally everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, Colin, like,
if you find a publisher that won't work with you, just find another one. Like, you're a rich white man.
Yeah, with the Bridgerton last name, like, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be known for just being a Bridgerton.
He doesn't want to be successful just because he's a Bridgerton, okay?
Yeah. I want my own thing.
I want my own thing. He avoids the question and quickly pushes Penelope towards his mother's house. A week later, Colin and Penelope are having breakfast as a newlywed couple.
No wedding scene?
They didn't have a wedding scene, no.
That's effed.
It really just like skipped straight to the
I wanted Hyacinth and Gregory fucking something up at that wedding.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more. But we didn't get one for Benedict and Sophie either.
We didn't, huh?
We didn't get a wedding for them, no.
No, it was just like.
That was like the last thing was them having sex like 3 days before their wedding.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Which is a shame because I wanted to see Gregory and Hyacinth fuck shit up until they were.
That's all I want.
Until they were married. Yeah. Which would be crazy. They're like in their 20s. Penelope asks if they'll go on a honeymoon soon, and Colin says they'll go later in the year. Penelope is disappointed because she wanted to travel, and Colin admits that he wants to stay in town in case the truth about Lady Whistledown is exposed, so he can limit the fallout. Penelope is upset by this statement, but just continues to eat her breakfast.
Get ahead of the scandal. Get ahead of the scandal.
Which I actually do kind of understand, but also...
It's impeding your life. You got to do something about it.
And also, I actually kind of think that being out of town would be better.
Yeah, just forever.
Well, I mean, and it would eventually have to blow over at some point.
Yeah, until the next scandal, for sure.
Well, I guess Lady Whistledown is kind of the scandal of all scandals, so she reports on all the scandals. So it kind of would be like probably a much bigger deal than like the average scandal.
Yeah. I wonder if there's going to be a new Whistledown.
I hope so.
What's the town going to be like without a gossip column?
Lady Clap Up.
Clap up?
Ladies scream upwards.
What?
Ladies scream down. Ladies scream left.
Scream upwards.
Scream left.
Oh, whistle down. Okay, I see what you're doing.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I see.
You're like, what the fuck?
Why are you going over this? All right, chapter 20. A few days later, Penelope comes back from shopping to a distracted Colin. He's reading his own journals. She asks if she can read it or a part of it, and he's unsure. She points out that he's read everything that she's written, and he immediately withdraws and shuts down. Quote, the minute she'd reminded him that he'd read everything she'd written, something turned ugly and black inside of him. But this hurts Penelope, and she pieces out. She's like, all right, bye. He feels guilty for hurting her. Publishing his work has consumed his thoughts day and night since Penelope suggested it a couple of weeks ago. But he's scared no one will want to publish him, or he'll only be published because he's a Bridgerton. Or what if he's published and no one liked it? What if he was a garbage author? So he's afraid of rejection.
Yeah, 100%.
Later that night, Penelope is trying to read in bed when Colin comes in and says nothing and smiles at her. But he tells her that he marked a couple of passages she can read from his journal, and she's excited to read them. He's reading over her shoulder and commenting on everything, and she keeps stopping and looking at him.
I actually thought it was a really cute scene.
It was really cute. I did like it a lot. I did like it a lot. Because he's like super nervous, so he's like explaining everything that she's reading when she's just trying to read it, like a man would do. And then
honestly, I feel like that's something anyone would do if so.
Oh, yeah. If you gave someone something that you wrote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I would have to leave
I would also have to
house.
leave. Yeah, because I honestly relate to that. I would do the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
But yeah, that part was really funny.
That's like me like showing you a TikTok idea that I have. Like I'm like, okay, so this is what I was doing here. Do you think that's good? Like
you did do that today.
100%. Yeah, that's true.
But this was his way of apologizing. Regardless, he's super nervous while she reads, and he's tapping his feet restlessly. She reads his journal entry about his trip to Scotland. It's like really long. I think we get the whole journal entry. It's
Yeah, we do.
okay. He thinks about
I'm not
how,
doing a dramatic
no,
reading of
I
that.
didn't even write it down. Like that was the whole summary. He thinks about how he can't believe it's taken this long to get her advice. And as she's reading, she's smiling, and he's still really tense. He let out a breath that he didn't know he was holding. Now, I would be doing a great disservice to the reading community not to quote that line. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah,
That's like everywhere. It's in the next book too,
100%. Well, yeah, I didn't know, but it's in a lot. It's in
Yeah.
ACOTAR a couple of times,
which is
too.
fine, and I like it. It's funny. I think it's funny that people go nuts over it.
I like his Scotland entry more than I like his Cyprus entry. Actually,
His Scotland one was more funny.
it was very it was very personable, and like it wasn't
Yeah.
as introspective.
No, it was like not poking fun at the locals, but like getting an insight to the locals.
Yeah, and it was like lighthearted
Yeah.
and fun and just yeah.
Yeah, it was,
I liked it more, I
good.
think.
the first one deserved a dramatic reading.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a lot more serious and
Yeah. Yeah.
another
that.
big word. Insert big
That.
word here.
You should edit it like that. Just edit it in a word. Anyways.
That'd be crazy.
Yeah, what?
Oh my god, we'll record some big words after this and I'll start saying insert big word and I'll just insert big words.
But she loves his writing and wants to keep reading to see how he got to Blair Castle because it doesn't matter. Anyways, she even proposes that they go to Scotland for their honeymoon, but he's like, nah. Italy is much more exotic and romantic, and they'll go to Scotland another time. Penelope says she was surprised that he asked her to read his journal. He says he did it because he values her opinion,
I love
which
it.
is fine.
Which is fine.
Because, like, she's Lady Whistledown. Like, obviously her writing is cherished by everyone.
Yeah,
And he
100%.
hadn't thought to have her critique his work
Yeah.
because she's a woman. Which is confusing for her. She says, you don't even like my writing. And then he says, quote, oh my God, this is the quote. Okay. Nothing could be further from the truth. I think you are a marvelous writer. You cut right into the essence of a person with a simplicity and wit that is matchless. For years, you have made people laugh. You've made them wince. You've made them think, Penelope. You have made people think. I don't know what could be a higher achievement. Okay, that wasn't the quote, but that was a good quote.
It is really good.
Then he admits that he was jealous. This is where he admits he's jealous of her decade-long writing career, and he has nothing. He's still looking for his purpose. He sees Penelope has one, and he's super jealous.
Yeah.
Then he remembers he complained to Penelope about Lady Whistledown calling him charming. He was like super embarrassed about that.
Yeah.
He like just pops into his head, which is so funny.
You know what I love about this though is they are the best communicators out of any couple so far. I think.
I would agree. Yeah, they talk a lot.
I mean,
They get down to it. No, that's one of the reasons why I ended up liking this book a lot better than the first three, because they talk about their problems.
It's I should say they all end up talking about their problems, but I feel like it's far more quickly than the other ones do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They do it a lot though in this one, like every I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
all
fine.
of them always have like one big problem. I feel like this is a little bit more complex where
Yeah.
they have like a lot of nuanced things, but they talk through every single one so detailed.
Yeah.
And I just kind of love it. It takes him like he gets all pissed off and then it takes him a day to realize and then come and show her his work. Like I
Yeah.
just think and then he just completely opens up. Like
It's refreshing.
it is refreshing.
He talks for a long time about his purpose, and she's like, have you tried just publishing your journals? Have you tried that? And then she offers to help him edit it. He doesn't even know where to start, and he asks how she started. I thought this was an interesting story, how she started
I do too.
Whistledown.
Yeah.
She tells him of how her father's solicitor accidentally discovered a note that she had just been writing for fun or like as a release. And he's like, you got to publish this. Like, this is so funny. This is so good. And he set everything in motion, basically. He took care of everything until the day he died. And Penelope continued by working directly with the publisher. Didn't before he died, he was like, "Do you want to continue? Like, I'm about to croak."
I think so.
You're like, "Do you want?" And then set it
Yeah.
up how to keep going.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
It's super nice.
Yeah,
It's so
like
good.
what an interesting relationship that had to have been.
Yeah.
All the money that she received, however, went into a secret account that she couldn't even use. So when one of her aunts died, her and the solicitor set it up to look like Penelope's fortune from Whistledown came from her late aunt's estate, which is
Isn't it
interesting.
Aunt Petunia?
I don't think so.
Oh.
That's Harry Potter. I don't remember what
I
her
think
name
it,
was.
I think it
Was
is.
it?
So
I don't remember.
I could be wrong.
Wait,
I'm gonna
wait.
Google it.
Yeah, wait, look it up. Aunt Georgette.
Oh shit.
A little different.
It's like not even close. It's it's not even close.
Aunt Georgette.
Maybe it is in the show.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
Is it the same?
Over it.
Kind of?
No, I'll
Okay.
talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, she gave all, or at least a big chunk, I'm not really sure, of her money to Portia. And Colin's like, question mark, question mark? But Penelope says, well, she's my mother. She supported me. And it all trickled down. So I guess she could use it then finally. Colin tells her that he can help get control of that money and they can use it for herself. And she said it's far too much money. So he suggests saving it for their children. And Penelope says their daughter should have money of their own, apart from the dowry, which I loved.
Yeah, I agree.
Then Penelope admits that she was upset when she thought that Colin was ashamed of her because of the Whistledown thing, but she's relieved because that wasn't the case. He was just upset he hadn't found his purpose yet. She then suggests using her money for a honeymoon because Colin doesn't seem to be as excited for a honeymoon or care about it at all, but he does laugh and say he'll pay for it, which I thought was funny. He's like, you don't have to pay for it.
That's cute. They're
Yeah.
just two rich people doing rich people
Aw,
things.
They found each other.
I love it.
And then she says we can use it as pen money, like to help you get published. And I think he likes that. And then they brag about how wonderful their lives are.
Oh.
It's a week later, and Penelope is at her writing desk, editing Colin's journal. She's excited to have something to challenge her mind since retiring Whistledown. Their butler, Dunwoody,
That's the best name so far.
comes to tell her that Cressida Twombly is here for a visit. Penelope is surprised, but is no coward, so she tells Dunwoody to send her up. After some teasing and some beating around the bush and some cuntiness, Cressida reveals that she knows Penelope is Whistledown. And it's because Penelope insulted her at her Lady Whistledown announcement and said it would break her heart, which of course, as we know, was what she had written in the last Whistledown column. Even if Cressida outs Penelope and no one believes her, they both believe it will get the people of the ton talking and thinking, and they'll piece it together. So Penelope asks what she wants. She wants 10,000 pounds, which is shocking to Penelope because I guess she had only made 8,000 pounds from all of this. But I say only, but that's the equivalent to $1.7 million in US dollars today.
8,000 pounds?
10,000.
10,000 is that?
1.7 million.
That's actually kind of crazy considering maybe it's just like the cost of everything now. Like maybe things didn't cost nearly as much back then. But like what was it?
1.7 mil.
1.7 mil is obviously like a decent amount, but it's not like someone couldn't.
It's a lot of money for a paper.
It is a lot.
And a ton.
Yes, but she describes it as like she wouldn't. It's so much that she wouldn't even know what to do with that much money.
And she also says it could last her lifetimes.
And yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm not trying to discredit how much that is because that's obviously a lot, and I don't want to sound like oh my god, but
you're like I just have so much money. What's 1.7 million?
but let's be so honest. Like to buy a house right now, like if you bought a decent sized house, pretty much most places in the country, it's going to cost at least anywhere between $300,000 and $500,000. That's almost it's almost a fourth of that.
Yeah,
and then the cost of living year by year is at least if you're paying minimum is going to be at least probably 60 to 70,000.
Yeah.
So truly and honestly, that's not lasting lifetimes.
No.
But to be fair, things probably costed a lot less back then. So
yeah. It's I don't even know how to pick that apart.
So it's hard for me to
judge.
An unbelievable amount would be like lifetimes would for me more so would be like if that would be equate to billions now.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or like hundreds of millions.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Does that sound stupid? Does that sound stupid?
No.
Is that a stupid thing to say?
No, I mean 1.7 million is a lot of money, obviously, but
Yes.
to say it would last lifetimes, maybe in London in 1815, I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I can
don't
see
know.
that. Like maybe it was like with the cost of everything.
Yeah.
Like I can get it. Right now, that would not last lifetimes.
No, I
It
wouldn't even. No. Penelope denies her, but Cressida ignores her and says, I expect the funds in about a week. Then Dunwoody comes in with a fake emergency that they had planned beforehand, and Cressida leaves. Penelope thinks her troubles are far from over. Penelope is lost in her thoughts about her Cressida problem when Colin comes home, saying Dunwoody had told him that she was there. Cressida was there. This is I have a funny question. Okay, do you think mothers of butlers name their children knowing they're going to be a butler? Or do you think that they are given names with such a butler vibe that they decide to become a butler? Or do you think they just change their name before applying to be a butler? Because they're such butlery names.
That's a great question. I think
I tried Googling it, but it didn't have much success.
I think the servant class has like a different set of names. Like I genuinely do.
That's interesting.
I do. Like I think that they like the upper class or like whatever. I don't know how you would classify the classes, but like the servant class probably has a different. They probably name their kids something completely different than the
just because of their class.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay.
If you had a child that you knew was going to be a butler, what would you name it?
I have one on the tip of my tongue. Joffrey. Your reaction. Joffrey.
What did I do?
Joffrey. Yeah, the people, they would not have seen Game of Thrones.
Yeah, okay, so fair. My head went immediately, immediately there. But I do like it actually. Like if I had never seen a Game of Thrones, I 100% think it's
Joffrey.
It's a butler name. Woodleson would be mine.
Woodleson.
Woodleson.
Okay.
Make it a little bit more like
Someone write that down.
Woodleson.
Yeah. A little more syllables.
Just a couple more. I think it's good.
It's like a really nice part, and I just interrupted it with the butler.
I like it though. I like it.
Penelope breaks down crying and tells him what happened.
That's the next thing she breaks down.
Yeah. I just put that in there.
Woodleson and Joffrey. Then she breaks down crying.
She breaks down crying. It's really sweet. Colin goes silent after hearing, what had happened, and Penelope is a little worried. She's like, Colin?
I love it.
He tells her he'll take care of it. You don't even have to lift a finger. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah.
And she is scared but thrilled at what he might do. She's like, what's he gonna do? She suggests asking Lady Danbury to lie to everyone for her and claim to be Lady Whistledown, a plan that I hate. But Colin asks her to hold off until he can figure something else out.
Why do you hate it?
Asking Lady Whistledown to lie?
Lady Danbury?
Yeah. Asking Lady Danbury to lie because she's so proud of Lady Whistledown and she would never be happy with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally get it. I just think if she is so adamant about staying
anonymous,
yeah, there's not really another thing to do.
Maybe
do you know what I'm saying?
Lady Danbury, maybe like when she passes away, then they can pin it on her.
That
doesn't make sense.
saying.
No.
Yeah.
Train of
when
thought
she's
is
dead,
derailed.
like ruining her.
Ruining her.
thing is,
I would never ruin Lady Danbury.
No, but I do. I see where she's going with it because I do think Lady Danbury would take the rap.
I think she would do that for her, but I don't think Penelope would ultimately be happy with that decision.
No, I don't think in the long run she would be either. But also, like that's where it's kind of like you have to make a decision on whether or not you want to take credit for it or not because, like you
cannot pay Cressida. Like he's like, I don't know when I mentioned that, but he's like, are you really going to pay her? Is that the route that you want to go? Like, no, that's not going to happen.
I mean, either have to like have someone else take credit or you have to take credit for it. I mean, there's no staying anonymous.
Right.
There's just not.
At this point, I was like, oh my gosh, you have to just announce it. You have to get ahead of the scandal.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of was
I
the
did
same way
not
too.
think that that was going to happen. I was like, oh my God, I was getting really excited. Like, I hope it does, but I did not believe that it was going to happen.
Yeah, I feel that actually.
It was good. So he says he has to leave to think, and she says, "You can't think with me here." And then he says the quote of the book. He says, "I love you. I love you with everything I am, everything I've been, and everything I hope to be. I love you with my past, and I love you for my future. I love you for the children we'll have and for the years we'll have together. I love you for every one of my smiles, and even more for every one of your smiles." Did you act it out?
So good. I did.
You just do what is it called?
Muppets. No.
No, when
Miming.
No. when you're dancing.
Interpretive dance.
Interpretive dance.
I thought I had it with the miming. I thought I had it. I was like, it's miming.
Miming.
Miming for sure.
Anyways, we love the quote. We love it. Then he's like, but I have to leave to think. I have to go see Antony. And Penelope was comforted by that because anything that Antony is involved in, shit's going to be taken care of. No, I think he just takes comfort in the brotherly thing.
I agree. Yeah.
Relationship. This part's funny. Colin heads to Antony's via carriage and gets stuck in traffic by an overturned milk cart. Glass and milk everywhere. He gets out to help, but it's such a mess. It won't be cleaned up for another hour, at least, with or without him. He makes sure the milk cart horses are properly taken care of before telling his driver he's going to walk the rest of the way. I love that he makes sure the horses are taken care of.
I agree.
Green flag.
Yeah, I do actually feel like most of the Bridgerton men would also do this.
I do. I would agree.
Maybe not Benedict, but definitely Antony.
Well, Benedict certainly wouldn't let Sophie do it. Remember, he was like so adamant about not her not taking over the carriage. He's like, you can't.
And Antony
guide horses.
And I don't think actually Antony would do it if he was in like a I'll kill someone mood.
Oh no, yeah, I guess not.
I feel like if he was in a good mood, he would. But if he was,
they
not
didn't even mention
mood.
the horses when Kate overturned her carriage. Yeah. There was no horses in sight.
Hopefully they were okay.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and.
Oh, I'll cry if we find that out.
No,
I will.
No, you got so serious. I just meant like we're not gonna find that out. By the way, Colin is furious. If you thought he was mad when Penelope had published her last column, this is worse. He didn't think he could be more angry than that, but he was wrong. Quote, he still wasn't certain what had happened to him when Penelope had told him of Cressida's threats. This was more than anger, greater than fury. This was physical. It coursed through his veins, pulsed beneath his skin. He wanted to hit someone. He wanted to kick things, put his fist through a wall. You know? Punch something. Anyway, he hears Antony say Colin because he had been standing on Antony's front step for who knows how long, and Antony was just coming back from doing whatever. He just says, I need your help. And Antony is like, when and where?
Yeah.
I love that.
I do too. Actually.
Yeah. that trope. I'll get behind that trope.
I'll get behind that in like any time. Well, and in real life.
True.
Too.
Yeah. It doesn't happen a lot, but
yeah.
Yes. Do you need to fill up your
If
glass?
you told me that you needed to bury a body, I would bury a body with you.
You're like, when and where? Like, stop texting.
Yeah.
I'm coming over.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be like, just let me get a babysitter.
Let me find.
We definitely can't bring my daughter.
Come.
Yeah, we definitely can't bring my daughter. But I'll be there in just like 15 minutes.
Penelope is getting ready for Daphne's ball when Dunwoody relays a note from Colin. It just says, I have to make my own way to the ball. Head to my mom's house. The fam will be waiting to escort you. As good of a writer he is, he's a terrible correspondent, is what she said. I thought that was hilarious.
It's so funny.
She thinks about what he could be planning. Kidnap Cressida and ship her off to a penal colony?
To Australia?
Too dramatic. Maybe he'll try to cross-blackmail her? Yes, that's good. She's like, yeah, that's what he's doing.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's going to be so good.
Yeah. What the fuck? But seriously.
It was funny.
It was good. She's
She's
good.
blackmail her? Ooh, yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
At number 5, Eloise nearly knocks the carriage over in her haste to get inside. She wants to know what's going on. She said Colin sent a note telling the family to stick to Penelope like glue. Bold, underlined, circle. Penelope just redirects and says, I don't know what's going on. I don't know. Everyone's
Your guess is as good as mine.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Everyone's in the carriage.
talking for the rest of the day.
You have a lot more talking to. Everyone's in the carriage now, and they're chatting about whatever. Hyacinth is being silly, talking about transforming herself into a glue mindset. And Eloise says, we must get her married off soon. To which Hyacinth replies, you first. And Eloise cryptically says, I'm working on it. And that's all I'm going to say. And they know that's all she's going to say. 3 jaws are on the floor of the carriage, but we quickly move on from this.
How do we quickly move on from this?
Because they arrive at the ball, and they have to get out, I guess. And the mansion or the estate, or however you phrase it, is ornately decorated. It does sound really beautiful. Candles and torches everywhere. I kind of want to go. Mm-hmm. Eloise says there's magic in the air, and it feels like if tonight will be turning point for one's life, very cryptically. And then they head inside and handing it over.
Fuck. It's not promising. It's not promising, I'll be honest with you. Chapter 23. Penelope is greeted with the Bridgerton ladies by Daphne and Simon, who mentioned that Colin sent them a note telling them to keep Penelope away from Lady Danbury. Which I think is kind of funny.
It is really funny. He's like, you are not...
He doesn't trust her to not go to Lady Danbury, which is crazy.
And just like ask her to admit that she's Lady Whistledown. Like that would all happen in the span of a couple hours.
Right. Exactly. Penelope believes Colin has found a secret about Cressida that he's planning to use, aka blackmail the blackmailer.
She's like, that's going to be so good.
Exactly. Eloise is unusually quiet during the exchange. Eloise mysteriously asks if she can be gone for a while. I think to go to the bathroom.
I don't know. She's like, I can't expect to be here with you guys all night. Like, I need to go walk around and mingle.
I thought she just went to go to the bathroom. She's like, I'll be right back.
Well, she was gone for like an hour, and they still weren't worried about it.
They kind of were worried about it. They asked like 6 times where she was.
Oh, I don't know then.
Yeah, so she's gone for a while, and she leaves Violet and Hyacinth with Penelope.
And we don't know where she's going, what she's doing. Maybe the bathroom.
To the bathroom for sure, probably. Okay. Penelope stays with Violet and Hyacinth through the evening as they make their rounds at the ball and talk to the other guests. Colin finally shows up but refuses to answer Violet or Hyacinth's questions about what he's up to. He tells them he's going to dance with Penelope and leaves with her. However, instead of going to the dance floor, Colin heads to a back staircase with Penelope, who asks what's going on. Mm-hmm. Colin doesn't answer her and just starts like kissing her and kind of feeling her up a little bit. And Penelope breaks up the kiss and demands that Colin tells her what's going on. And he admits that he decided to handle the Cressida situation by telling everyone the truth.
He said that right now?
The truth. He's like, listen, we're just going to tell her the truth.
That's the best way forward.
Surprise, surprise. Penelope is mortified.
Yeah.
Why? I don't know. I really don't get it.
Well.
Yeah, okay, fine. I get it.
Okay. Moving on.
All right, you convinced me. Okay, I get it.
I have that way about me.
I understand.
Did they have to go like shimmy up the house and go through the air ducts again?
Yeah, they did. They had to go up over a wall and rock climb, like climb to scale the building. Room. Yeah. Insert word here, so it's good. But Colin says he'll support her no matter what. Even though Penelope is mortified because she doesn't want to. She's like, I've thought about this for a long, long time, but
I guess he's making the decision for her. But
yeah, 100%. 100%. That's what I didn't like about that a little bit, but I was also kind of like, he's right.
But he also did all the talking, so
yeah, that's
kind of fine. That's kind of fine.
That's true. Penelope is worried about Colin being ruined as well, but Colin just doesn't care. He doesn't care about his own reputation.
Yeah, okay. Good for him.
Penelope then counters that no one will buy his journals once they're published, and Colin realizes how deep Penelope loves him.
Oh,
she's like, if you're ruined, no one will care to buy your journals.
And it'll be my fault.
And that actually makes me sad a little bit. Colin admits that he is no longer upset, but he's proud of her. He wants the Ton to view her the way he does.
I was thinking about something else and I wasn't listening. I'm sorry. He wants the Ton to view her like he does. Sorry.
No, it was good. It was funny. Penelope says they might hate her, but Colin is willing to take that risk because he just cares about being with her. That's all he cares about. He doesn't care about anything else.
Yeah.
Penelope relents and Colin brings her onto a balcony that overlooks the entire ballroom. Penelope becomes shy, but Colin encourages her to be brave. The music stops and Colin gets the attention of everyone in the ballroom by making a toast to Penelope, expressing his love for her.
But didn't Simon, he like had a signal to Simon and Simon had to go stop the orchestra. And it was really, and then and Anthony was like yelling. I don't know.
So Anthony was in on it.
He had to tell Anthony. He had to tell Simon.
Yeah. Simon knew, Anthony knew. But at this point, I don't think anyone else in the family knew.
Yeah, I think so.
He then starts to make another announcement. So basically he's like, I love my wife. She's the best. Like I'm going to leave here early because we're going to go bang. And then literally that's what it is.
Yeah.
And then Penelope hears, he's making another announcement and he hears Cresta cry of distress in the background. She's like, no. And Colin basically is like, by the way, this is my wife. Her other name you might know is Lady Whistledown.
And then who starts clapping first? Lady Danbury.
Lady Danbury starts clapping first, followed by the Bridgerton family and Simon, and then the Featherington family, and then the rest of the crowd.
Yeah, that was nice. Go Lady Danbury.
It was really good. It was
so good. I'm glad they ended it like that. Oh my gosh. I'm glad they didn't blackmail Cressida. Would have been boring.
Was surprised that the Featherington family was one of the first ones to clap, to be honest.
Are you?
A little bit. Maybe not like, maybe not Portia, but a little bit Prudence. Maybe not Philippa because she's like me, so just kind of like I would have just clapped either too.
Just we're clapping, okay?
We're clapping. They're clapping. I'm clapping. But Prudence a little bit. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Penelope is amazed at being celebrated for her accomplishments. She and Colin then quickly make their escape, leaving the ballroom behind to go bang. Epilogue uno.
This is the shortest epilogue.
It was really short. Yeah. Colin brings in the first copy of his new book to Penelope, who is 8 months pregnant with their first child. His first book is about his trip to Italy, and then Cyprus will be published soon after, and then Scotland will be published after that.
It's going to be a series.
Yes. Colin credits Penelope for helping him with editing, and she accepts the praise. She's like, thank you.
I did that.
She's like, yes, I helped you because I'm a good writer. Colin asks what she was working on, and Penelope admits that she started writing again and is working on her first novel.
Ooh.
Colin asks what it's about, and Penelope admits it's called The Wallflower, and it's basically like an autobiography.
Okay, yeah. Aww.
Colin asks if it has a happy ending, and Penelope excitedly confirms and says she only knows how to write happy endings.
She's like, I got Colin. Yes, it's going to be happy. What was his book? The title of his book?
Shit, hold on.
An Englishman in
it probably
Cyprus?
is. Yeah, it's got to be
I think
an
it was
Englishman.
something like that.
A rich white man in Cyprus. That was one of the funniest things that's ever happened.
It was funny. Did you write down the second epilogue?
No, but I have it off the top of my nog. I wanted to do it off the top of my nog.
Oh, okay.
I know exactly what's going on here.
All right.
An Englishman in Scotland. So it'll be an Englishman in Scotland, an Englishman in Cyprus, and an Englishman in Ireland. Italy.
Looking forward to it.
Italy, yeah. The second epilogue is about Penelope and Colin going to Eloise's wedding. So basically what happened is during their announcement where he basically is like, she's Lady Whistledown, where Eloise disappears, she runs off to her new soon-to-be husband, Philip. Sir Philip. What's his first name?
Philip.
Oh, what's his last name?
I don't know.
So, okay, so Sir Philip, who she had been corresponding with.
Romney? Mm-hmm. That's the name of their hall. Romney Hall. Is it?
Yeah.
Could that be their last name as well?
Maybe. Yeah, Philip Romney. Mm-hmm. And she did not, and Eloise did not hear that Penelope is Lady Whistledown.
Right.
So Penelope is freaking out because, well, first of all, she went missing. So all the brothers went to go look for her and like traveled across the country to Romney Hall to figure out where she was and like to go where she was. And she's like, oh yeah, I'm engaged. When they got there, they're like, oh yeah, I'm engaged. And apparently everything worked out well. And all the brothers are like, oh yeah, Sir Philip is great, whatever. And when they got back, Penelope's like, did you tell her? And he's like, no.
That she's Lady
Whistledown.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? Oh my God. Like, we're going to have to travel to her wedding.
On
and
her
she
wedding
doesn't
day.
know.
Yeah. I can't tell her today.
Yeah, exactly. So then they go travel to Romney Hall for their wedding day. And everyone's there. And when they show up, Penelope shows up late. Colin and Penelope are like later than everyone else.
Oh, yeah.
It's like kind of crazy because they decided to stay somewhere else so they could bang. And and they go into the place where Eloise is getting ready. By the way, Penelope is the maid of honor. And Eloise is like crying.
Like just has tears in her eyes.
Yeah, but like not a good cry. Like I think everyone's is worried about her. I think Penelope says at one point, like, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. But even Penelope says that's actually not true. She's been here for weeks. And if anyone found out, like, in which they would for sure, her reputation would be ruined. She would not have a chance at another suitor ever again.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate because it didn't have to go down like this.
No, not at all. But Eloise is like, no, it's fine. And then when they're about to go out to go to the wedding, Eloise stops Penelope and says, you know, I'm sorry for keeping my secret about corresponding with Sir Philip. You know, I kept a secret from you. I feel so bad.
And that explains the ink stains on her fingers that everyone kept mentioning.
Yeah, exactly. And she's like, I was a bad friend because I didn't tell you, blah, 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 blah. And Penelope's like, oh my God, I feel so bad. Because her and Colin agreed not to say anything to Eloise on her wedding day.
And she was baiting her.
100%. So then they have the wedding. It's great. It's fine. It's perfect. It's dandy. They go to the wedding and Colin's like, okay, I kind of want to tell her now. Or they go to the reception and Colin's like, I want to tell her now because I want to start some drama. And Penelope's like, no, please don't. And Colin goes and walks over to Eloise, where she's talking to guests with Sir Philip.
Yeah.
And Hyacinth clocks it and runs over because she just wants to be part of the drama.
Oh, yeah.
Which I just love.
I love
Hyacinth for that. And at this point, Penelope realizes that she has to tell Colin. Sorry.
Eloise.
At this point, At this point, Penelope realizes that she has to tell Eloise that she's Lady Whistledown because Colin is about to like break the news.
Yeah.
And so she brings her into another room and Eloise says, I already knew. Hyacinth told me last night. By the way, funny. Colin had paid Hyacinth like 20 pounds not to say anything, but he paid her 10 up front and then was going to pay her 10 after the wedding after she didn't say anything. But Hyacinth was like, well, I only actually needed the 10.
Yeah, and didn't she try to like sell the information to Eloise too?
Yes, 100%. I think Eloise paid like 40 pounds for it. Like it was double.
I think that's so funny.
It was so good. Hyacinth is the best. And yeah, she's like, I already knew. I'm proud of you. I love you. They have like a moment. They hug, like yada, yada, yada.
It's all nice and good and dandy.
And then Colin and Penelope leave to go back to where they were staying and then in about an hour away and to go bang. And then the next morning they receive letters from Lady Bridgerton and Eloise and I think also Hyacinth.
I don't remember.
I think it was 3. And Lady Bridgerton says, I forgive you for leaving early. Love you guys. I better see some grandchildren in the near future. And then practically that's what she said. And then Hyacinth was like, yeah, sorry, I spilled the secret. But then she was like, this is what happened after you guys left. Yeah, it was like a recounting of the wedding after you guys left.
Okay.
Or like the reception.
Right.
And then Eloise wrote her and said, I was basically baiting you when I was apologizing for not telling you about my letters to Sir Philip. You kept the secret from me, so I'm going to have to get you back, and I'm going to have to enlist Hyacinth to do so.
So, but it's not like she was actually angry. It was just kind of
it was like
playful.
A playful. Yeah, okay. 100%.
That was funny.
100%. And that's pretty much where it ends.
Yep, that's the book.
Yeah. That was a pretty good recounting off the top of the
nog.
Yeah,
that was great.
Thank you.
Good job. Off the top of the nog. Okay. All right. Here's my spiel.
Okay, go ahead.
It's long. After the 4th main male character not even alluding that he knew about the clitoris, not one of them tried to stimulate it, I wondered, do they even know about it? And it caused me to Google, Did men in the 1800s know about clitoral stimulation? And I don't know if this pertains to England specifically, but one of the first results was an article from Arizona State University website, and I can put it in the show notes if anyone's interested. But this is super interesting information. Okay. During the late 1800s through the early 1900s, physicians administered pelvic massages involving clitoral stimulation by early electronic vibrators as treatments for what was called female hysteria. They used female hysteria as a sweeping diagnosis for women who reported a wide range of complaints and symptoms unexplainable about any other diagnosis at the time. They provided pelvic massages for thousands of years to female patients without it ever being considered erotic or sexually stimulating. Physicians began using electric machines in medicine, including the medical vibrator, which researchers theorized was used to more efficiently to bring women to a hysterical paroxysm, which is the former medical term for a female orgasm. Greek philosopher Plato wrote that hysteria was caused by women not having children, stating that a childless womb would become distressed and move throughout the body, causing health problems. And they believe that a woman's womb wandered throughout her body, causing a variety of medical problems by making contact with other organs like the lungs, liver, and brain. Some physicians based their theories of female hysteria on the wandering womb theory and prescribed medical treatments including marriage, heterosexual sex, pregnancy, applying pleasant-smelling oils to female genitals, and external vaginal stimulation, with the idea that the treatments would anchor the uterus back into its proper location in the pelvis. What? Okay.
That's nuts.
Are you ready to hear what qualified as hysteria?
Yeah.
Okay. Headache.
Okay.
Forgetfulness.
Of course.
Irritability.
Yep.
Insomnia.
Okay.
Writing cramps. Like writing. Hot flashes.
Writing cramps?
Writing.
You're
cramps.
fucking kidding me.
Hot flashes.
Okay. All right.
Excessive vaginal bleeding. Heaviness in the limbs. Usage of coarse language. Severe cramping. Difficulty breathing. Desire for clitoral stimulation. Hyperpromiscuity, mood swings, nausea, anxiety, drowsiness, loss of appetite, aging, back pain, swollen feet, cancer, organ failure, endometriosis, heart disease, epileptic fits, and what are now known as symptoms of depression, schizophrenia, and other psychological disorders.
Aging?
They're like, oh, you need an orgasm. I know how to fix this. During the 1800s, the medical community believed that only vaginal penetration was sexually stimulating for women, and as a result, physicians were averse to the use of tampons and specula for concern that they would cause a woman to instantly become aroused. What the fuck? If the female patient became flushed and relieved during the pelvic massage treatment for hysteria, physicians explained that she was experiencing a hysterical paroxysm, which is now known as an orgasm. They're like, oh, look at it worked. She's like, relax now. That's all I got. So they really the science wasn't there.
That's fucking insane.
It is.
You know what's wild though is every single time that they've had sex with a woman that she's came.
Yeah.
So obviously they're doing something.
I was looking up the statistics for that too, and it's only like
it's got to be low.
25%.
Yeah,
or something like that.
That's bonkers, man.
It's just unrealistic.
It's bonkers.
Why weren't they just like, oh, sex was really good, but they didn't really experience
well,
orgasm?
You know what? This is a romance.
I hate it.
And
it's
also, I know that we're historically accurate, but we're not historically accurate. Okay?
Yeah.
We're historically accurate about 20% of the time.
Yeah.
We're historically accurate when you think that we maybe should not be historically accurate.
I just don't understand it.
Oh.
I have been seeing a couple of things on like my Facebook friends. No, I wouldn't say distant family, but like whatever, like people I don't really talk to.
Yeah.
They love the books. They're like, oh my God, these are so good. They're so good. The show did
crazy.
okay, but the books are so good.
Like, that's actually crazy because the books are in absolutely fucking batshit. But
yeah,
you know what's crazy though is that, and we can go into, but the books did ruin the show for me, kind of.
The books ruined the show. Okay, yeah, I mean, I could see that. I could see how that happens.
Yeah, because no matter how much batshit crazy the books are, the one thing that Julia Quinn does really, really, really well is the way that the male characters show their feelings for the female characters. I feel like she does a really good job of, I never question whether a male character is in love with the female character.
Okay, I can agree with that. Yeah, their grand statements are really good.
Well, yeah, and even some of their actions, like even though Benedict like kidnapped and, you know, blackmailed Sophie, like
let's not use Benedict as an example.
Okay. Why do I always have to use? But I'm trying to use even like the most shocking one, right?
Right.
Like that's my point, because like even with even with Benedict, where he kidnaps and blackmails Sophie, it's obvious to me that he's doing it in maybe a possessive way, but also because he does. I don't want to say that he cares, but
he does, but he just. It's not.
He doesn't know how to show it.
Way.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to show it, but it's very obvious that he does care.
Yeah, we never question that.
Never ever question that he cares, right?
Yeah.
Same thing with. I mean, all of the characters. I think
which
even
is the point. Yeah.
I mean, definitely. I won't even go there.
I
don't even want to go there.
About Daphne.
Yeah. Well, even with Anthony, the way that he shows his love for Kate, like, and Kate doesn't know that he loves her until later, but we all do. Like we feel it.
He loved her from very early on, even though he never admitted it till like chapter 22.
I'll say that this is going to be so controversial. I'm nervous to say this. I felt it with Anthony and Kate in the show. I felt it with Daphne and Simon in the show. I'm struggling to feel it with Colin and Penelope in the show. And I'll say the reason is because I think
their press tour was too hyped up.
I don't even think it's they did amazing in the press tour. They did everything that they went above and beyond with their job description. Yeah. Like, honest to God, like they killed it. I don't think it's that. I think it's Shonda Rhimes, I think, got a little too out of hand with storylines. Like, I genuinely do.
I've been hearing that a lot. I have not seen the rest of the whole season, I guess.
Yeah.
But you have.
Yeah.
So let's talk about it. Spoiler alert for season 3.
Yeah, the second half of season 3. Yeah, I think we didn't see enough of Penelope and Colin.
I heard that a lot.
Some people say that there wasn't enough spicy scenes. I didn't think that there just was enough scenes in general.
Just any scenes.
Yeah, just like really scenes in general.
Just connecting them.
The other thing about their scenes were in the second half, when Colin found out that Penelope was Lady Whistledown, it was a lot of Penelope begging for Colin. As you have now heard with the books, or if you're reading along, or if you've never read the books in your life, understand that Colin would never show Penelope at this point in their relationship, that anything that would make Penelope feel like she would need to beg for him. Like he would never show her with his actions anything at all that would make her feel like, oh my God, I'm losing him.
And if she misinterpreted that and started to beg, he would be like, no.
100%.
Yeah.
And also, Penelope just wouldn't ever beg.
Right.
Like, that's just not her vibe. Yeah.
In a good way.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
And, you know, she did a lot of begging. I thought it was just like not great. And I get that Colin was mad in the show, but like that was the whole point of the books, is he was mad at her throughout the whole fucking show. But he also loved her so much that he couldn't help but show it to her. Yeah. And he did it in the show. And it just really upset. I just didn't like that.
That's a bummer.
People who have only watched the show really like the show. And what I'll say to that is stay in your ignorant bliss, because I get it. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I get it. Like, it's one of the reasons I've never watched Harry Potter. I love the show. I love the movies, and I don't want them to be ruined by reading the books.
Oh, so you don't want to read the books? Is that what you meant? You said the show.
I will.
Yeah. We're going to someday for this.
Yes, we will for this. But it's one of the reasons why I've never read the books, because I watched the movies first. I love the movies. I don't want to be upset about the movies doing things differently because I love the movie so much.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But you definitely will be. But the thing is, I read the books. I think I actually saw the first movie before I read the first book, and that's how I got into it. But I've said this before, I am able to separate the two. Yeah. The movies do leave out a lot, and it is very upsetting, but it's
Yeah.
also they're hilarious. To
Yeah.
it's funny to like compare them. So
Yeah.
it's just a good
Yeah.
time.
No, for sure. I do get it. I don't mind. It is what it is. It's going to be what
Yeah.
it is. It just is like, I don't mind Shonda Rhimes. I appreciate Shonda Rhimes changing things that add to the story.
Yeah.
I said like,
Yeah.
when it comes to Francesca and Michaela instead of Michael, I think that's, I don't mind that at all. I think that's great.
Yeah.
I think like it can bring something fun and fresh and new and exciting. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I think that the way that Shonda Rhimes kind of differed from the books in terms of Penelope and Portia's relationship, I think was really touching and beautiful, and I loved that.
Aw, I'll have to watch for that.
I think the way that that Shonda Rhimes changed Philippa and Prudence a little bit in the show. I love Prudence and Philippa in the show. Like, I think they're incredible. They're perfect. They're amazing. I even kind of like that they introduced Lord Anderson for Lady Bridgerton.
Oh.
And even the way that they've changed Lady Danbury at times. Like, there are things that I really do enjoy. Like, I can see the vision.
Yeah.
I don't see the vision with the way that they handled Colin, with the way that she handled Colin and Penelope.
Okay.
And I don't think it gives anything. I think it takes away. And I'm more invested in Nicola and Luke Newton as a couple in real life, even though I know that they're not. But
Did you see the picture of Colin, or what's his name? Luke
Newton.
Him and his like new girlfriend. I don't know how new they are, but everyone's like going insane. They're like, oh darn it, they're not together. He has a different girlfriend. Oh, my world's shattered.
I wouldn't say that like my world's shattered.
That's how they're reacting.
But I would say like,
I'm not saying you.
I could see the romance between it and their PR more than I do even on the show.
Which is great acting and promotionary content.
But it also is very clear that like maybe the writing is a little off, because they have the chops, they have the acting ability to show this chemistry. They obviously have the chemistry.
Yeah, that's upsetting.
But maybe they weren't put in the right like direction to really like. For me, I wasn't invested. Like I was honest to God more invested in Francesca and John. Like I was more invested in them 1,000%. Like I saw more like better writing and chemistry between the two of them in this season than I did truly between Colin and Penelope. And that sucks, because I think Nicola Coughlan is probably the best thing since fucking sliced bread. I think she's fucking incredible. And I really like Luke Newton. Have you ever seen that TikTok where like it's part of a movie where she's like, it's the woman that's both like strong and beautiful and intimidating, and then there's the man. I like Luke Newton, but like Nicola Coughlan is like my goddess.
Oh, I love it.
She's incredible. Yeah, it's just a shame.
That is a shame.
It's a little bit of a shame.
I'll have to watch it. And I've been seeing a lot of TikToks, scrolling TikTok, and they're all like, so everyone's very upset about Bridgerton, and I agree. So it's out there. Everyone hates it.
Makes me sad because you can just tell that all of the characters that play in this show like put their entire heart and soul into it.
Oh yeah.
And I really, really, really hope that the writers can go back to the drawing board and really maybe next season take the feedback and make it a little bit more simplistic. Yeah. And go back to the reason that we love like period pieces, right? Like Pride and Prejudice, where it's all about the intensity and the buildup and all of those things that make something like Bridgerton so great. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, I think one of the biggest gripes was just there was too many storylines. So just
100%. Like
simplify it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't need 15 different storylines.
Yeah.
2, 3, that's fine. Like,
yeah. Yeah. It's not like a 22 episode long season where you can flesh all those out.
And I understand like some of the characters are so great. Like, listen, I love the Mondridge family.
The what?
The guy that was the boxer and his wife that were offered a lordship, right?
Respects.
That they're the Mondridge family.
They were offered a lordship?
Yeah, their son was. And they're great. Like, I love them. I hate to say, they're not offering anything to the story. Like they're not bringing their storyline isn't bringing anything to the story. And it's taking up 10% of what we could have had for Colin and Penelope.
Right. I wonder if they come along somewhere else in the books and they just flesh out their story more, because Marina's story was pretty well fleshed out in the show. Mm-hmm. And in the book, she gets a prologue.
Yeah,
So,
I just they've had the Mondrich family like in the little bits of that for the last 3 seasons. So what
that's
are we
interesting.
building to? Do you know what I'm saying? I
Yeah.
hope that we can see it. Like I hope that there's a vision long term, but it just doesn't feel that way right now.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't.
Like they're already married. The only thing I could think of it about would be like introducing their son into society, but he's young.
Yeah.
So that's still time.
Something will happen, I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Something dramatic that we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Or give them a spinoff and like let them have their own time to shine and then give what we need in Bridgerton. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is that a rant over? Overall, how many stars for the show?
For the show?
Yeah.
Ugh. Not many. It's not I really was disappointed. I'm not even going to lie. I cried.
I laughed, I cried, but it was whatever.
I wouldn't say that I hated it. I just was disappointed because some of the scenes that we got were so good. Like episode 5 was so good. And then I just feel
Was that
like
the mirror
after
scene episode?
Yeah. And then I feel like after episode 5, it kind of took a really bad downturn.
That's funny because that mirror scene, he had only described him wanting to do that in the book.
In the books, yeah.
And she was like, ooh.
Yeah. I loved it though. I loved it. I
So
saw an interview where Nicola Coughlan had said that she had decided to be fully like nude in that scene, or like as nude as they had shown, because she had seen so much discourse online about her body, and she kind of wanted it to use it as like a fuck you.
Hell yeah. We love you.
She had another interview where she had made a joke about. It wasn't a joke. It wasn't a joke. I shouldn't say joke, but she had made a comment about how she was playing on the people that had said some choice things about her body, and she had said like, it's difficult for people like me with perfect breasts, and it was really funny.
That.
It was super adorable.
I love that. Nice. That was like half the glass.
I love that.
All right. Is that your rant for the show?
I think so.
All right. Are we going to close it out?
Yeah.
All right. What was your quote of the week?
I love you with everything I am, everything I've been, and everything I hope to be. I love you with my past. I love you for my future. I love you for the children we'll have and for the years we'll have together. I love you for every one of my smiles and even more, every one of your smiles.
It reminds me of the 10 things I hate about you speech, but like I love you instead of I hate you.
So good. Yeah. That's iconic.
Oh my God, it's so good. It makes me want to cry every time I see it.
Every time.
I do cry every time I see it.
Yeah.
Heath Ledger, rest in peace. Anyways, mine, I knew you were going to pick that one, so I picked the one about her being a marvelous writer.
Okay. Yep. What is it?
Nothing could be further from the truth. I think you are a marvelous writer. You cut right into the essence of a person with the simplicity and wit that is matchless. For years, you have made people laugh. You have made them wince. You've made them think, Penelope. You have made people think, and I don't know what could be a higher achievement.
Oh, I love it.
I was going to pick that one, though, but I'm like, she's 100% picking that one.
Yeah,
So,
it's just kind of like, how can you
it's
not?
just so good.
You know? Ugh, it's so good.
Colin.
Colin.
Who would you be?
Philippa. Philippa.
Aw. Wait, is she
Philippa.
with Nigel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
You know what? And that's actually not a bad place to be. I even kind of
I
think
agree.
that I wouldn't even mind being like, that's the person I would want to be, even because, you know what? Like, her and Nigel are very much in love. She seems happy.
They're laughing all the time.
They're laughing. They're smiling.
What else could you want?
Yeah. Yeah. You know, there are a
agree.
lot of quotes too that like being intelligent is also sometimes kind of a burden, like living in ignorant bliss. Like, I wouldn't mind that.
I agree. What was I reading where I was like, I wish I was more ignorant because like it's too hard, like knowing all the horrors of the world.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, just kind of living and just like, just being who you are. And, you know, and she just owns it, and I kind of just love that.
I like it too.
Yeah.
Show was it Philippa?
Philippa is kind of the
similar?
shit too.
I love it.
Honestly, like she shined in the second half of the season.
I did
too.
see that. She got like a glow up and she's beautiful, and
Well, not only that, but just like the way that she is, just in general, it's just
her
kind
acting.
Well, yeah, and her personality.
I love it.
You know, it's
Aw.
just she's not nasty. She's just
Philippa.
like she's happy and like there and like ditzy, but in like such a beautiful way.
Yeah, I love that so much.
know?
I totally agree. I love it that you're saying that. I picked absolutely Eloise because running away to meet a guy I barely know and scaring the shit out of my family, like that's absolutely something I would do when I was younger, not at 28.
Seriously?
Not like, yeah, I'm gonna say yeah. Yeah, I was gonna defend myself, but like, yeah, who
I
would?
love that. I wouldn't think that you were capable of such drama, but I'm obsessed.
My cousin used to say I have a double life.
I'm actually obsessed.
I'll have to tell you about it. Anyways.
I kind of wish I would have known you in this era.
You wouldn't have, because I would have kept it away from you.
I would have figured it out. Let's be so fucking honest. I would have plied it out of you.
Maybe.
Maybe not.
So, is who you would want to be Philippa?
Yeah, I think so.
I
think I stand by that.
I picked Penelope. Wait.
What?
I said Penelope for his role in revealing Whistledown to the ton. It was just so perfect. So maybe I was thinking Colin. Wait a
maybe
second.
we were thinking of Penelope because of the way Colin.
Penelope because of the way
that he was
revealed Whistledown.
Yes.
Okay, I just wrote that down all stupid. Yeah, but the 100%, because that's just like, because she didn't have to do any talking. I love that.
And the way that he just kind of like backed
Declared
her up. Yeah.
So many declarations of love and support.
Yeah.
I loved it. Who's favorite character in the whole book? I picked a less prominent.
Say yours first.
Hyacinth. Because every line she had hit.
Okay, yeah, you know what? Felicity.
She was funny. She was clever. She was interesting. Felicity.
Yeah. We'll go with Felicity.
Oh, yeah.
We'll go with the besties.
Felicity, too.
Yeah.
Hyacinth, I love them. We need a spin-off with them.
Yeah, I kind of wish that Felicity had her own book, too, because they're both kind of iconic. And I can see why they're best friends.
Yeah, me, too. I love them.
Yeah.
Least favorite character?
The obvious one is Cressida Cowper.
Yeah, I put Cressida too, but not because she tried to blackmail Penelope, but because she asked for way too much money.
100%. 100%.
1.7 million. Jeez.
And the way that she's been this whole time. The other one that I could maybe say would be, and it wouldn't be for the whole book, it would just be for this half, would be the editor who...
Yeah, it just took things into his own hand. He's like, I'm just going to do my own thing and hope that you keep publishing with me and paying me money.
Not nice.
Not cool. Publisher.
Not a nice thing at all. Yeah.
That is crazy. Okay, star rating. What do you rate it?
I actually think I'm going to give this one a 3.8.
Ooh, it's kind of up there.
It is actually, genuinely, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have reasons? I mean, you said them many times.
Yeah, you know what? Like, here's the thing, right? Like, he may have been, he was definitely the least violent, but I feel like when he got mad, in my opinion, for the most part, like, it was fairly reasonable. Like, I genuinely feel like I understand like why he would have been so upset. And it was always in a situation, not always, but at least half of them were in a situation where he was in public. Like, what are you gonna do in some of those situations? Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, okay, but like, what would he do if it happened behind doors? That's the scary part.
I mean, we know what happened behind closed doors.
Hey,
he fucked her instead.
Bruises her upper arm.
No, he fucked her. He fucked her.
No, he fucked her. He fucked her.
The only thing that he did in public, yeah, he did grab her in public, and it wasn't okay. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't okay. Right. But I would say, like, behind closed doors, like, when he had a chance to do anything more, like, he fucked her. He had sex with her. He didn't like do anything physical.
So weird. And that's not weird, but it's like, how does he jump from being so angry to be like, never mind, I really want you?
Yeah, no, I get that.
It happened so fast.
I also think that the way that they communicate, I think, is probably the most healthy out of all of them.
Best, yes, in the books. I agree.
And I also just think the storyline in general was just the most intriguing. Like, I really do.
I loved. Was she writing Whistledown before the first half? Or no, she had retired.
She wrote it for the first half.
And then she retired.
Yeah.
Okay. I like the Whistledown columns.
I know. I'm really gonna miss those.
Me too.
Yeah. We'll probably get them for Hyacinth's book. Not Hyacinth. Francesca's.
Why?
Because Francesca's first,
earlier.
at least her first. Well, maybe not actually, because.
Yeah, she.
Oh, I guess I don't know. Actually, we might not ever get him again. That kind of sucks.
Well, Francesca is already widowed in Penelope's book.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe.
But probably I feel like the prologue is gonna be.
Yeah, and Eloise, it's like letters that she had sent.
Oh, okay.
So it's correspondences.
Yeah.
Okay, so I put 3 stars. Colin wasn't perfect. The fact that he was holding onto her upper arm, I can't get over it.
Yeah,
hard
no,
enough
that's
to
fair.
bruise.
Maybe I'm desensitized because of all the other people in their
it's
violence.
just so much better than everyone else.
That's true.
But then he stands by her through and through with a smile, glued to her hips at parties, drowning her in words of praise. But it's also a little toxic. But okay, so if I was Penelope and he was like doing shit like that, and I know he has a temper, I could see it in his eyes, and he tells me he acts like this, and then he's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful, I can't stay away from you."
Yeah,
I would just feel like it just feels scary. But I can set it aside. I did like it. Okay.
I don't disagree. Like I totally 100% understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. I did like that the writing at least acknowledged some of these things that we're talking about and bringing up. They acknowledged like every single one of the problems that we
100%.
Which I do like that, and that's very refreshing, and I appreciate the awareness.
I think the difficulty with Colin is he'd never really experienced anger the way that he had with Penelope before Penelope. Yeah, because so I genuinely don't think he even knew how to handle those emotions. Yeah. Like I just don't even think he knew what to do.
That makes sense because truly.
They made such a point to say that like he has never, ever, ever lost his temper in public, lost his temper in front of people, like just never really even lost his temper ever. And then all of a sudden he's losing his temper at 33. Like imagine how like jarring that would be. How difficult it would be to manage those emotions that you've never felt in your life before.
Like why am I feeling these? Like what is going on with me? Like what is making me so angry?
That's kind of like the only reason I feel like I'd give him maybe like a bit of a pass because it's like Anthony and Benedict have experienced those emotions before. It's like it's been explicitly written. Colin, it was explicitly written that he never had before.
That's a good point.
Sometimes I have trouble handling my emotions. Like I have to like go into a room and scream into a pillow. Like imagine like if I've never experienced those emotions once really in my life.
Are you talking about anger specifically?
Well, yeah, it seems to be like kind of the emotions that he's feeling that he doesn't know how to handle is like anger and like betrayal and like disappointment, like those sorts of things, and just being so angry that you lose your temper just in anywhere.
I'm terrible with my emotions, with controlling them, I will admit. I remember last year I got like hit in the face during a volleyball game, and I was like, I'm fine, but I'll be right back. And I like went to the bathroom and cried for like 10 minutes.
Oh shit.
Because something about getting hit in the face just makes me want to cry.
I
don't know what it is, but I just had to cry out and I was fine after that.
But that was like, that's a good regulation, like knowing that and being able to go into your own.
I'm not going to be able to stand right here and be fine. Like I need to go away because I cannot not cry right now.
No, for sure. I didn't really know how to handle my emotion of anger or depression until probably like 3 years ago. I would get angry. I would just start like I would like yell. Yeah. Like I would literally yell. Like I would just be like very, very just I don't know, off the cuff. Depression. I would just cry. I would cry anywhere I was, anytime, any place. So I don't know. I kind of get it. I just
that's true.
It's not like healthy.
No,
but it's not like they have like readily accessible like healthcare.
No, they don't have shit. You know, if you're having a headache, you go to the doctor and they give you an orgasm.
Exactly. So. Yeah, they rub one out for you.
So we can I guess just
and you're cured.
Take it with a grain of salt. These
for
books.
Sure.
And you're cured. Sure. You're like, look at that. She liked that.
Yeah. What do they do for men? I wonder. Like fondle their balls. Like what do they do?
They knew that balls were sexually stimulating because they're men.
Of course. Of course. Yeah. It's not even a question. No, this one's interesting because it's a lot more, I feel like, introspective compared to the way that the last couple have been.
Yeah. Yeah. So Eloise's book, I've read half of it. Yeah. So that's gonna be fun. I texted her a bunch of.
Sometimes I wonder what this author is thinking in her mind.
I think the whole book is rage bait. Because I was getting so mad.
Really?
Yeah. So I'm curious to see what you think.
Oh, I'm very nervous because I do get like easily angered.
Especially
by stuff like
because
this
it's
too.
Eloise and we've already know what she's been through with her thought process about marriage and stuff like that. So
this is going to be interesting because I already kind of dislike Julia Quinn. So this will be interesting to see how she handles this. I don't know how... I don't get this series in general, but whatever.
And everyone's like, oh my God, they're so good. You have to read them. And I'm like, oh, don't even respond to us. I can't.
Genuinely, the people that decide not to read these series, like I've seen people on TikTok being like, I refuse to read the books. Honestly, I think that's for the best.
If you're a fan of the series and you've seen some of the content like that we've put out and you decide that, I don't blame you.
Like,
More
I
power to you.
genuinely don't blame you. Like,
Yeah.
just look at what you see through TikTok and like,
fine.
don't even worry about cracking the book, because I don't know if it's worth it. Like, I don't know if I'd
ignorance is
recommend it.
bliss.
Yeah.
I would always recommend somebody reading something and figuring that out for themselves.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, if you're like contemplating a book for months and months, just fucking read it.
Yeah.
Pop on the audiobook and go for a walk and read it.
Yeah, sure.
Then decide. And now you know what our opinions are.
Listen, I'm just saying that there are other books that probably will be more satisfying and more intriguing and more interesting and more intellectually stimulating.
Yeah, but these are fun to read together.
Insert big words. Yeah, for sure.
Insert big words.
For sure.
Okay. Next week, we're going to be reading To Sir Philip with Love, Part 1, with something, through Chapter 10. It's shorter, I feel like, than the rest of the books.
Yeah, okay. Probably because it is rage bait.
Yeah. I feel like she's doing a great job.
If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please email us at litlibationspodcast@gmail.com.
Interpretive dance.
Yeah, I love an interpretive dance.
Yeah. If you guys like us, please go rate us 5 stars on wherever you're listening. It helps people discover us. And our reviews have been going up, so thanks for tuning in. We love to see it.
Thank you.
Fan art, send it in. I want to see it all.
Everything.
Yeah. What would be a good? Oh, the milk cart disaster. Don't draw that. Don't draw that. Fanfic. There's so many spinoffs you can do. Send us something. Insert yourself into Bridgerton and send it in.
You know what? I would read about Philippa and Nigel Burbrick's love story, Prudence's love story. I would read about Kate's sister's love story, because I know that they're married. Edwina is married.
Edwina.
There's just like a lot of things I would read.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got through it all. That's it.
Well, I love you. We love you guys.
Yeah, we love you. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week. To Sir Philip with Love. Bye.
Bye. I love you.